How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to showcase the Frost Iris build that I've pushed, and this is the adjustments that I've made to it since the last video that we had. First things first that you're going to notice is the gear has gotten a lot better. In order to kind of hit this like 99 billion cap here on the dummy, you do need to kind of push the gear as much as you can. I got a lucky corrosion here on Troublemaker. You don't need it. Again, like the 99 billion is like more of a, I don't know, you show it for to say you can do it, but it's not really necessary. Like this isn't really even the mapping setup I run. I will showcase that here as well. For your chest, you want one with, if you would want one with just higher Spirit Magus damage, but I'm just using one with Max ES here. For your Exquisite Box, you actually want one that gives you empowered effect here. You don't actually want additional cooldown recovery. You want the one that changes restoration skills plus 70% to empower skills plus 70%. That's actually going to be the biggest upgrade you can get for Exquisite Box. And then for your gloves, again, you're getting +2 and then just a bunch of ES. For Winter of Origin, you want one, you just want to ensure you get really high cooldown recovery here. For your boots, we're going to use +2 boots here with just max ES. And then for your rings, it's really important that you end up crafting your rings. You want to get this T0 mod here for growth, and then you end up basically wanting to get this elemental destruction on one ring. What this does is this allows you to keep a movement skill and then use Blizzard on your bar in order to get just extra resistance pen, or extra resistance reduction rather. And same thing for the other ring. You're basically rolling for ES, minion damage, and growth, and then just resistances on these. And then for your staff, you're going to want something similar to this, preferably with a higher cooldown speed or like a higher double damage. But take what you can get. Definitely search for these on the trade post before trying to craft them, because there's a lot of people trying to craft like perfect staves, and then they just sell the ones that miss. So you can probably save yourself some money there. For the hero memories, you want to ensure you get one with this empower skill bonus. Applies to your spirit magi here. This is going to be extremely important. And then for your memories, you want just max nourish stacks. You can get sealed mana for spirit magus if you want. That helps as well, but mainly you just want nourish stacks. And the same thing as before with the memory, you want to ensure you get a 3-second one for that. For the skills itself, candles haven't changed. These are still +2 cold if you can get these combined with +2 cold and minion damage. That's going to be best, or like +2 cold and like sealed aura effect, things like that. Or even just +4 candles. I've seen those as well. They're obviously hard to hit, but they do exist. For my right click, I'm putting elemental shock here. I have rhythm on things just for mapping. I have less buttons to click. For blink, you just have quick mobility, magic dash. For blizzard here, you have blizzard, mark, strategic strike, and blinding. For mapping, I will typically take this off, and I will actually put this running as forced start instead, with the defense layers and things like that, just for extra survivability. It doesn't really matter. You can run whatever you want. This is the maximum damage kind of setup though. And then you want Nourishment of Life here with Mania, cooldown reduction, extended duration. Again, I'm running rhythm, less buttons to click. And then you have Dazzling Bloom with cooldown reduction, extended duration, and pain amplification. Because this is the spell that requires you to cast it way more often, that's why I put this on spacebar, so it's auto-triggered by the Exquisite Box. Yeah, so that's the recommendation there. And then here you have an auto defense setup with protection field, and then you put Energy Fortress in here for seal conversion. And then you are running Elemental Amplification, Frigid Domain, and Magical Source. If you do manage to get yourself enough sealed mana, you can move this Magical Source over to your auto defense, and you can run a erosion enhancement here. I don't have enough sealed mana to do it, so I'm not going to recommend it for the video. I don't need it to actually hit the damage cap. So there's that. And then for this, I'm running Summon Frost Spirit with Savage Growth, Harvest Time, Freeze Chance, Elemental Duo, and Ailment Termination. So Ailment Termination does require some specific things in order to work. If you aren't going to run the Ailment Termination version, then just run like Spell Conk here instead. Just run either this. Spell Concentration effect is probably going to be, should be your highest DPS wise, or Elemental Fusion. Though Elemental Fusion shouldn't really work. It does though, so I don't know if it's going to get bug fixed or changed at some point. So Spell Conquer, Elemental Fusion, either one, they should be more damage or close to the same damage. They're not going to be more. This is going to be the most. But and then we're running Freeze Chance here. And so if you are going to run the Ailment Termination version that I am running, you need to ensure that you pick up these 4 points here in Alchemist, which is the thing that allows your minions to inflict ailments. And then under Stature of the New God, you need a slate that has this mod on it, specifically here. 10% minion aura effect, add 10 base damage to minions. You can roll this on other divinity slates as well, like I had it on one of these other ones here. But I was able to use this combination of using a Fallen Starlight plus a Corner Divinity to basically get it set up this way instead. For your divinity slates, you want to be either running Focus Strike or Mighty Guard on here for damage, and then the rest of your slates are pretty much just looking for, you're trying to get +2 on every slate. So you want a +1 cold and you want to hit +1 spells with it. If you need the extra focus blessing stacks because of the belt that you bought, buy a slate like this with own 1 additional focus blessing and just try to roll 1 until you hit either +1 cold or +1 spells. These are typically pretty cheap, so it's not that hard to roll them. And then you can see for my last slate here, I just have one +1 cold skill level, and then you have this additional minion damage for every point of order, which is really nice. Other than that, for the talents here, we're running Isomorphic Arms. Nothing has changed. The big thing you do want to ensure, you want to actually try to remove as much minion attack and cast speed as you can. Minion cast speed does end up basically lowering your damage on this build, and I'll go over here in a minute as to why. For Alchemist, nothing really changes again other than picking up the ailment nodes. Everything else is still just defense, and then whatever is actually damage for Spirit Maggie. So we're going to put those in. I took some max mana here just because I was trying to fit in erosion enhancement. So you can swap this max mana to other defenses if you want. You can put it in skill radius over here. You can put it in this extra ES. It doesn't really matter. Do with it what you will or what you want to. And then for Warlock here, same thing. You're taking this energy shield. You're taking the max mana, you're taking Empower effect, and then you're picking up just this defense, cooldown recovery. I picked up the mana cost again. You can swap these to like elemental resistances if you have resistance issues, or you can swap them over to this energy shield charge speed. Whatever you want to do with it. It's not required to specifically put them in these. The one thing you do need to be doing on this though, you do need to be running Indifference, most likely in order to hit your cooldown cap for the build. There are ways to do it without Indifference. It just means you need more cooldown on gear. And if that's the case, then you can get rid of Warlock entirely and you can run Steel. So in regards to why you do not want to be using much attack or cast speed for your minions is if you look here at the Frost Release skill, which is the empowered skill here that is getting used by the memory that we're using here. You can see here it gives a buff to them for the next 3 skills that they do are going to have this 85% additional damage for 6 seconds. You do not want them to be using normal attacks because otherwise they're going to waste this buff basically. You want them to basically be saving this to where like it's always proccing and going off with like permafrost cast basically, or you want it to where it's proccing itself and then just dealing its own base damage, because auto attacks are obviously going to be worse than if it's doing this. So it's important that you don't have too much attack speed, otherwise they're gonna end up wasting their buff basically on just like auto attacks. So keep that in mind. Yeah, other than that, let's go ahead and showcase it in a map, and we will take it from there. So you can use this build. It can kind of farm anything. Yeah, we'll just run it in this mode. I'll show you typically what I would do, like for most stuff. Let's here, we'll put this to 8-4. And you can kind of fully juice this. It doesn't matter what the mods are. You don't even need to really read them. They do not matter. Where's... Oh, I forgot. I was messing with my boots. It's like, why is my fire waste down? I was debating crafting something on my boots, and then I didn't do it. There we go. Yep, that works. Oh yeah, so for pets here, I'm just using blue pets, the ones I have. Olive here for some smaggy cooldown recovery speed, some Spirit Magus effect, and then everything else is just whatever damage they have. I'm still taking the resistance here because I still need it, but yeah, like these minion attack and cast speeds are probably actually breaking my build. I should probably test without them. You would have to test to see if you're getting too much minion attack and cast speed or not yourself, so definitely test it. Try with them off because your damage might be higher with it. Alright, let's go ahead and go into this map. So pretty much for this, if you are using your Spirit Magus on, if you're using it on your passive bar there instead of on your main bar, you just need to be hitting F in order to proc the thing. And here's where you can see why I typically run Force Start here instead, just because it's a little bit easier to just ensure that you don't end up just like randomly dying to something. Blizzard is nice and all, but having Force Start definitely helps so that you don't just fall over easily to things. But typically with these, we're just, again, you're running around, you're spamming your F key, everything else should be kind of auto casting for you. Oh, I got a city. I didn't realize I had a city that was done, I forgot. Okay. Well, we're gonna run this after. For the video, we're just gonna get this. I don't want the video to get too long here. So let's kind of go over what we're going on here. Again, you just get to kind of teleport around. You're hitting your F key to kind of maintain your nourish stacks. You don't actually even need to click it that often for the build. A lot of the defense you're getting on this as well is just from the auto freeze on these. Your damage is high enough that for some people, they will just run increased AoE instead of anything else just to have extra screen clear, you know, because I mean, as soon as they teleport on top of anything, everything just basically gets instantly frozen and killed, as you see here. It doesn't need to be the defense or as much damage as it even has here. For my actual mapping setup, I typically will even run this, where I have a different slate that I will run. I won't run Focus Strike. I will typically run this Kinetic Conversion here. Slate here with Kinetic Conversion just for some extra barrier. And then because this slate also has orders on it, I'm able to swap this over to Shrink Back. We don't need to, I guess for the sake of testing, I'll show you just with Kinetic Conversion because you guys won't have Shrink Back. You're unlikely to find the exact same slate, but if you just use a slate with Kinetic Conversion, where do I have a beacon for? With a map that's not awful. This place is fine. I don't know if I have 8-4 unlocked there though. I don't have 8-4 unlocked anywhere except Glacier, man. Oh, that's fine. Whatever. We'll just showcase it on 8.1 here. On wait, Grove. Yeah, okay. So if we fully push these, with Kinetic Conversion, you just have a little bit of extra defense because it is going to give you extra barrier every time you move. So as you see that I'm running, I get a barrier here. This just helps with making it to where you have to pay way less attention to what you're doing. I guess you can still get killed by stuff, but this is why I'm still kind of 96, because I don't really pay attention to when I'm mapping. I'm typically like watching YouTube or something else on another screen. But with this kind of setup, you are able to just kind of teleport around, and everything's just going to be dying still. Because obviously your damage is still going to be really high. But with this specific setup with the different slate, I can showcase the damage. It's probably going to be around like 400 to 600 mil, maybe, or 400 to 660 billion, rather. So that's you give up a little bit of damage, but you just get some extra defense, and it doesn't really impact things too much. So for the sake of everything you're doing, unless you're doing like deep space stuff, you're pretty much going to be getting enough damage to be killing everything still. So there's that. And then yeah, so this would be like my actual mapping DPS setup is going to be more so to this, because I'm not running Blizzard. I'm not running like that extra slate. I'm typically running around this like 35 to 40 mil, whatever it is, kind of DPS, but I have the bossing setup if I need to swap to it, but it's not something I swap to very often. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And other than that, see you in the next one.